So
Are you glad you came?
yes, I'm glad you came. So that's why I came. Reiterating your question. Is that how you say it? Yes, reiterating. Yes. Okay, so if you turn into any animal, so pretty much your enemies, which
And or spirit animal.
pretty much. Yes. What animal would you want to turn into and why? This could also be a question for you guys watching the video. Drop your comments.
Mythical or real?
Mythical or real. That's right.
Yes, please comment.
Yes, please comment.
And like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, we're supposed to tell people that.
We're official YouTubers. No, but
Anyway, back to the very important question.
it's a good question. This might actually take me a minute to figure out.
I know there's a lot of options.
Totally, like
And
I need to start saying like only mythical or only real, because then it like drops it down.
yeah,
But
we could do one of each. I mean, because there's a lot of options in both of those categories.
that's true.
Individually.
That's true. Well, while you guys are thinking, I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
Why? So early on in the interview, you guys asked me what feather I would want to be. I said phoenix. That's also my favorite mythical creature or real animal ever.
Okay.
So the reason why is because one thing is phoenix teeth have healing powers.
According to Harry Potter.
According to Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling. No, don't do that to people.
What?
Don't do that to people.
Yes, yes.
He ruined the ending of Tangled for me. Like, one of
If
the
you haven't seen Tangled by now, you're screwed, alright? Like,
You're
like, it's too late, man.
It's too late for you.
I'm not gonna protect every person who has a movie for 10 years after it came out.
Has it been 10 years since it came out?
Okay, 8 or 9 or something.
Gosh, time flies.
No, no. I
Dang.
don't even remember the ending. I didn't actually see the movie.
It was a great movie. Rush up and see it. Check it out again.
I don't remember what you said about the ending.
Don't say it again. I won't. It's like a really heartfelt, tear-jerking moment, and then Wyatt out messed
We're
that
just
up.
worried about spoilers on every movie. We're not gonna be able to talk
It's not
about
a
it.
spoiler. It's a messing up the ending, ruining
But
the
it
ending.
bothers me when, if somebody hasn't seen it, that's what they're gonna have to hear.
Well, then
It makes me frustrated.
I know, but
Makes me
like
frustrated.
if they do watch it and we tell them why, while everybody is crying.
Yes, when they're supposed to be crying and it's supposed to be heartfelt.
Well, we can
and
put
this guy's
there's a
gonna be
Tangled
laughing.
spoiler on here.
They're gonna laugh, and no, just when you watch it and you hear what he said a minute ago, you'll understand why. It's just mean, and you shouldn't be laughing at that moment. It's so sad.
Even though you do.
I laugh because of you. Thank you, and we're gonna tell you later, Belinda, because we're not. Well, okay, let's do it. Just like now, people are gonna laugh.
It's so old. I just don't remember a phoenix. There's a phoenix at the end.
No, there
And the
isn't.
phoenix
So
cries?
he says, no, he says Phoenix tears of healing power. So at the end of Tangled, and I agree with Belinda on this one because it's been out for years, and you haven't seen Tangled,
And it's
then-
Disney, so
And if you've seen Tangled and if you haven't seen Tangled and have seen Frozen, watch Tangled. You're gonna
Yeah.
have a new favorite.
Exactly.
Now we're advertising Disney too.
That's right.
Okay, anyway, go
We're
ahead.
just advertising for everyone today. But at the end of Tangled, Flynn Rider dies, gets stabbed by the bad guy, and he has a chance to be saved by Rapunzel with her magic hair when she sings, and he like pulls her close, grabs a shard of glass and cuts her hair off so that she can't use it anymore, and he dies, and like she's singing the song to bring him back, and it's not working because her hair's cut and the power is gone, and as she's crying, a tear hits him on the chest, and this like light flashes in his chest, and it brings him back to life, and Wyatt's all like, Phoenix tears of healing powers.
But apparently Tangled tears have healing powers too.
That's right.
Rapunzel tears have healing powers.
Yeah. And it just, like, now, every time I see that part, like, I was crying before, and every time I watch that part, I start laughing, because now I look at Rapunzel, and I'm like, Phoenix tears have healing powers, Harry. But it's not supposed to be funny. Flynn Rider just died.
I don't even remember that part.
He can come back. And then I'm laughing at it, because Wyatt. That's why. That's my only explanation. conversation because Wyatt. Okay, so it's hilarious. Like, just watch that movie.
Most of your life, though, is because Wyatt, isn't it?
Yeah,
And most of Wyatt's life is because Madison.
that's true. Because it's like, well, why weren't you the older twin? Because Wyatt.
And then,
He
why
faked a
are
heart
you the
attack.
older twin? Because
Well, that's right.
Wyatt again.
That's right. Because Wyatt. Because he faked a heart attack.
Yes.
To
That
get
was
out
a-
early. They were like,
that was-
oh, we need to do a C-section to save this baby's life.
Such a good
Meanwhile,
fake
when he's being picked out, he's
Wyatt's
like looking
like,
at...
Sucker!
Yeah, that's right. He's looking at me being picked up going...
And Madison's crying.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Funny enough, Wyatt was also crying.
Even though I was
Another
waving,
plot twist.
even though I was waving goodbye and with a big smile on
He's
my
like,
face.
I win. It was tears of joy on his part. I'm the older twin.
My plan worked.
But so genius. As a baby.
Okay, so
Competitive even at 0 years of age.
The reason why you're the evil twin.
Negative 0.
Negative
Negative years.
so the reason why Phoenix,
Yes.
the healing powers,
We had a topic we were talking about.
yes. So healing powers
We're
for
gonna
the tears, and we also just like they're able to burn stuff.
Cool.
I know it's great, but
When do they
here's-
burn things? Do they blow fire?
no.
They can light themselves on fire, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember all the rules of what they can do.
Yeah,
Well-
the abilities of a phoenix.
If you watch Narnia, then the Phoenix can light itself on fire anytime it wants and just set on fire.
Chronicles of Narnia, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
It's actually Prince Caspian one. But
No,
you
it's
know.
not Prince Caspian. Is it? No, it's the first one. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Because the Queen is all like, she's riding.
Yeah, I lost that battle.
Yeah, you did. And the blue is like, poof, and
Yep.
it separates the fire. And they're like, she kind of ruined that plan.
Are you lost here, Belinda?
I did read those books, but it's been a while.
Did you watch
Okay.
the movies?
I watched. How many movies were there? I thought there was only like 1 or 2, and then they
3.
gave up.
I haven't.
Oh.
And then they gave up.
I like that last part, and then they gave up.
I don't know, because they made 3. Was that for 3 of the books, or did they combine the books?
I don't know. I honestly, I didn't read the
Okay.
books, so
Because
Yeah,
the
neither did
movies
I.
weren't as popular as you would think. As I felt like you
That's
would think
because
they would have been.
the movies were great. I actually really liked them.
Yeah, the movies were good, but I heard that they like drifted away from the books, like hardcore. So a lot of fans
Oh.
really didn't like it. But you know, if you
Oh.
haven't read the books, then it's actually a really decent movie.
Oh, okay.
But so yeah, light itself on fire, and then it always comes back to life.
So, but here's the question: because some people see immortality as a curse and not a blessing. So, what is your view on that? Would you eventually want to die, or
Well, it depends. I mean, does a new soul come into a phoenix every time it's reborn, or does they have the same one?
Well, yeah, but at the same time, that wouldn't be you anymore, right? It would be someone else
Yeah.
with the same body. That's interesting.
Yeah.
that different people
Yeah.
would share the same
Well, no,
body.
because it would be a different phoenix body because it was reborn.
There you go.
And
Okay, fair.
If it's also a different soul, that seems like complicated because that's a lot of souls.
Wow, in that case, it would be like the only mythical asexual creature out there.
Is it asexual?
Yeah, well, because if it's just going to keep being reborn from itself, and new souls are being put into it every time, then that would basically be a new birth of something new, right?
Yeah.
So that would be asexual. That would be yeah.
Still though, that
No
raises
mates.
a lot of questions though. Anyway,
Yeah. This
my
stuff
guess.
needs to be figured out.
Yeah, it
we need to
does.
do research. Stop assuming.
Whoa! For a second there, I thought that billboard was a part of a building, and I thought the mountain was the building. I was like, "That's a big building."
That's huge.
And then the sign kind of drifted away from it. And I was like, "That ain't a building. That's a mountain."
They can't see what you're talking about, Wyatt. You're leaving people out of the conversation.
You're left out of the conversation on this one. But no, but yeah, that's why I like the Phoenix. I think it's really, really, really
Either way,
awesome.
phoenixes are cool.
Yeah, phoenixes are cool. We won't have to
And me
agree
and
with that.
Madison haven't thought of ours yet.
No.
Have we?
No. I have not.
I mean, for regular life animal, I would say a good one for me. I don't know.
A goose.
It's like I want to be original. I know I'm like drawn to deer because I'm so like of an inhibited, like terrified person generally, believe it or not. But it would be more interesting if I picked the moa bird, which is a bird that existed in New Zealand about 500 years ago, but was it was a
You were doing your boring voice.
extant species of the main island, and the Maori actually over hunted it and it became extinct, and so there's none anymore.
Just like the dodo bird.
Exactly, there are no more. So things were going extinct before even our modern time. But anyway, that's another lesson on the depletion of our world's animal populations. But anyways, the moa they were like huge ostriches, kind of ish. Like they were brown and elegant, but they were like huge, like 9, 10 feet tall. Like no, that's how tall ostriches like would be at the small end. They were huge. They were like
they
were like dinosaur level huge, but they just got hunted to death. What's yours, Madison?
Heart stretch. I got
That's your
animal? No, that was like, I was like,
I heard of that animal.
It's a new animal. I made it up.
Oh, nice.
The heart stretch.
Okay, really quick.
It's usually like that, stuck like that. What?
While you're telling us, well, not while, but before you tell us about your animal, just want to apologize to everybody that's watching this. I haven't just been staring at this thing like intensely. I've been just like, I've been trying to focus on this thing, not like jostling, so I've been like,
Oh, yeah.
I've been staring at this thing the whole time.
Looks like
so
you're like staring into the camera.
yeah, no,
He's
I've been
staring
trying
into
to
your
make sure
soul
that this
right
thing
now.
This thing doesn't jostle, so I apologize for staring at you all.
We need to get one of those things you hook it in your freaking car.
Yeah.
I'll check out what Amazon has to offer so we can do that. Because that is a great
Amazon.
idea.
Amazon, it solves all problems.
Amazon is the
So,
duct tape of
make
all
sure you check
issues.
out Amazon, Disney,
Amazon.
Tangled,
Hearsay,
Hearsay,
Paramore,
Against the
Paramore,
Against the Current,
Jeremy Bills.
Jeremy Bills, our big brother.
Who else were we plugging earlier? There was like
We were plugging someone.
before we even plugged the bands, we were plugging other brands like and rhyming. Apparently, but
Yes.
Let's see
I
here.
don't know if I. Anyways,
The band Advent Horizon.
Yes. I don't think we
Okay.
even brought them up, but
Nope.
I'm actually
But
wearing their shirt.
no way!
Yes, and my zipper got caught in my
And
necklace. Advent
awesome.
Horizon.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
So
That
cool.
band is awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
Okay.
So apparently we're naming a lot of bands here.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're just
promoting
advertisers
bands
today.
tonight.
Yeah,
Yep.
totally. Because we can do that.
Yeah.
It's
So,
not like they're gonna hunt us down and be like, "You advertised us."
how dare you be kind?
How dare you spread the word about us?
Anyway, so
Well, this has been
But-
awkward mostly, but no, I'm just kidding.
but
He hasn't said his animal though.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I got distracted by all the
I was-
bands.
forgotten.
I'm sorry.
you
Go
forget
ahead, please.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Ashley lets it go.
Don't touch me.
I didn't even see it coming. Anyway.
No, that was like you couldn't have
I
planned
didn't
that
see
better.
it. I didn't even
No,
see that your hand
that
was
was
on
right
mine.
as you try and pull away. That was so. No, that was like so perfect. Like you could not have timed that better. Like perfect comedic timing. It's like, boom. Okay, all right.
That pretty much represents me and Madison's love lives. But anyways,
Mine too.
We're not getting into
not
that.
to
We're
sell
not
you
getting
out,
into
but
that.
my love life anyway. Okay.
We
Speak
have
for
terrible
yourself.
love lives. We're
Don't. Why are we advertising this?
because
So to answer your question,
confining it.
because maybe the opposite sex that watches this will be like, "Oh, I love them, so I'm gonna go and be their friend."
wait a minute. Why do
We
they
don't
have
need
bad
friends.
love lives?
We need lovers.
Yeah, so we're gonna advertise that too.
So the creature I would want to be
Okay, let's go back to that.
is I would actually like to be. So there was a really cool animal that was brought up, and yes, it's weird for you, but I'm proud of this. It's a Twilight reference. I actually really liked the idea of what Jacob Black was. Like, they were considered werewolves, but they're not werewolves. Like, they're actually just like shapeshifters, but they shapeshift into the animal that their bloodline most was familiar with. And I just thought that was really cool. Like, for them it was wolves, and they were like these abnormally large sized wolves, and I just think that would be really cool to be able to just boom, like shapeshift into a wolf. Like,
So an animagus?
yeah, basically. So you could go Harry Potter in that route too.
So what animagus would you have? That was the question.
That's
you-
a wolf. He would have a wolf,
Thank you. See?
right? Or you would have a
Yes.
different animal.
No, it would be
with
a wolf.
the same concept.
No, it would be a wolf.
Oh.
Yeah, like I would like to be an abnormally large sized wolf.
Does a wolf convey something about your personality, do you think? And that's why you're drawn to it? Or
He
just
likes
'cause
to
it's
run
cool?
with a pack.
No, it's like I don't know. I've always liked wolves. I just feel like they're really
They're actually historically known as being very magical,
okay.
and they're kind of majestic,
Yeah,
but they're also predatory.
yeah.
So they're kind of an odd mix of, not odd, but just like, they're like predatory and violent, but for
You
some
mean-
reason they're like magical and people think they're beautiful.
So
I think they're gorgeous.
Territorial?
Well, they're
Probably.
yeah. Well, so they are definitely territorial. But what I like about them is that like, so they actually have dog-like tendencies because they're like the core of like where dogs come from, I believe anyway. Like, I feel like every dog has like a piece of wolf in them, from what I hear. That could just be another rumor going around, but I do like wolves because they do have dog-like tendencies, like a house dog, but they're also really like. They're real, like, I feel like they're more of a serious, like, they're much less playful and much more down to earth, and they're free. Like, they pretty well embody the best, like, version of freedom to me, I guess you could say.
Oh.
But, I mean, there are lone wolves and then there are pack wolves. I like the fact that they're so versatile in that regard. Like, they're not as,
Oh yeah, lone wolf.
yeah, like, they're lone wolves, too.
That's a
So-
weird thing, 'cause you always think,
McQuaid.
whenever you think of like group dynamics, like bullying, or like that there's like alpha male and then there's a group and they're like mob mentality, you always think of wolves that way.
Yeah.
But then you forget there's a such thing as a lone wolf, which is weird that they do both.
Yeah.
The same species does both.
Right, for sure. Like, they're not completely cookie cutter, I guess you could say, for lack of better terms. But I just like them. I think they're very interesting, and I like some of the connections they have, like as far as like what the Indians believed with them. I don't know all of the beliefs that Indians have, but one of them was like medicine men would be able to turn into them, I believe. And like the darker side of medicine men was like skinwalkers, and that's just another beast entirely. But
That's another conversation for another video.
it is. It really
we
is.
gotta cover that conversation topic.
Yeah, I think we talked about that once, you and I. Skinwalkers. Really
Probably.
cool. Some
I don't
medicine
know a
men and
lot about it.
skinwalkers. It's really cool. That is a cool topic, but we will get into that another time. But anyway, I just like wolves and how many different storylines they fit into and how many different myths. Are you yawning at my answer?
Yeah, you're kind of droning on.
I am droning on.
No, he's talking about interesting stuff. I want to hear the
Thank
rest
you,
of it.
Belinda. I appreciate
I was yawning
that.
earlier.
Yes. So, yeah, I just like how they fit into multiple different kind of like myths and stories. Like, I feel like every magical world, I guess you could say, has wolves connected to it in some way, whether it's werewolves, shapeshifters, medicine men, you know, what have you. Wolves are always connected in there. Shaman. Like, whatever, what have you.
Shaw woman.
Shaw woman. But, yeah, I just
Actually,
like how they fit everywhere and how everyone kind of sees them as, I guess, like, some people, like how you were talking about alphas and betas and stuff like that, like, they refer to wolves as, like, the example. So wolves are an example for a lot of things, too. So they're, yeah. Anyway, that's my very roundabout way of answering that question.
Although it was Wyatt's interview.
Yes, it was.
Anyway.
You know,
It was his question time. He had a question for us.
you know, interviewers can have questions for hosts.
Okay,
Belinda.
that's fair. Okay, fine.
Belinda. Well, my gosh, we've made 20
Okay,
minutes
yeah,
on this one
another
too.
20. That was fast.
It was?
We gotta hurry up and end it before it hits the 20-minute mark.
Bye!
Bye, guys.
Subscribe to our channel.